The doors of your car will close automatically. Please keep your head and arms inside and remain seated at all times. And please, no smoking. Thank you.
Matterhorn Matt presents Matterhorn Mondays.
Hey there, Mountaineers. Welcome to episode 29 of Matterhorn Mondays. I'm your host, Matterhorn Matt.
And I'm Alex, the historian.
And today's topics are, we're going to recap some of the recent Disney news. There's been a lot of Disney news that has been coming out within the past couple weeks. We're going to be talking about two pieces of Disney news. We're also going to be talking about our favorite cue music and our favorite underrated attractions at Disneyland. And I guess California Adventure as well. I do have one from California Adventure, so let's go ahead and get into our first bit of Disney news. Now, this piece of news comes from March 12th. It was released on March 12th, 2018. Disney has released new concept art for Pixar Pier. I'm sure you guys are excited to hear what we have to say about these new pieces of concept art. I'm really excited to give my thoughts on these new pieces of concept art. First off, the Toy Story neighborhood. I don't know why they're calling them neighborhoods. I guess it makes some sense, but first off, first piece of concept art here we have is, let's see, what is this? The retheming of King Triton's Carousel will be Jesse's Critter Carousel. Now, this will be opening not with Pixar Pier. This will be opening in 2019, so it's not going to be ready in time for the, I guess, grand opening of Pixar Pier this summer, which is strange. You'd think it wouldn't be that hard to retheme a carousel in 2 or 3 months, but yeah, as you can see from these couple pieces of concept art, guests will be greeted by a giant-sized Jesse as they enter this area. You guys saw the giant Jesse. Alex and I did bring up a couple episodes ago of how this Jesse looks similar to the Jessie sort of statue that they're using in Toy Story Land at Walt Disney World. I guess we'll give our opinions on this after I finish telling you guys about this. The rethemed carousel will open in 2019 and will provide adorable animals for guests to ride, and will now be called Jesse's Critter Carousel. Now, right off the bat, I'm not a fan of these huge oversized statues of the characters. I think we touched on this in a couple episodes, but it's going to be weird, I think, if you have the walk around Jesse character and then you have this huge Jesse statue. Just because it's going to, I guess, mess with the sort of continuity of the land. I'm really not a fan of that. I forgot to pause the music. That's awkward. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this huge Jesse animatronic. I mean, it's a carousel. What are they? There's really nothing special that they could do to theme it. Alex, what are your thoughts on Jesse's Critter Carousel?
I think it looks very tacky and very...
oh, you think this is tacky? Wait till we get to the next images.
I know. I'm afraid of that. It looks terrible to me. I mean, King Triton's Carousel was pretty bad, but this looks even worse. And yeah. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of this. I don't look forward to it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a carousel. What else are they gonna do? And there was one other thing I wanted to bring up. They have this Incredibles icon logo right here at the top of the loop on the Incredicoaster. That contradicts. I don't have any concept art to bring up right this second, but that contradicts a lot of the other pieces of concept art that they've released. They've released pieces where it's the Pixar Pier logo, where it's just the Pixar ball. So it's kind of messing with my head. What are they gonna put right here? I mean, obviously I'm not really gonna care much, but it's just kind of weird how they didn't match up the two, I guess. I don't know, but that was just an interesting thing to point out. On to the next piece of concept art. Adorable snowman frosted treats. Let's see. Yep, this will replace the Pixar ice cream company and include non-dairy frozen lemon treats. Because from the movie, Monsters Inc., when he makes the snow cones. Do you guys remember that scene from the movie? Do you guys remember? Because that's what this is calling back to. In case
I
you
do.
Yeah, this is one of the more tame. I feel this is one of the more tame, I guess, replacements of the ones that we're going to be talking about. And of course, this kid down here really loves his ice cream. He's got that huge lemon flavored ice cream. Alex, what do you think about the adorable snowman frosted treats?
Well, of all the things that I've seen so far for Pixar Pier, this seems to be the least offending. So, it's fine. I think the way it looks. I mean, I wouldn't really know how to improve it, but I think it's okay. I think this is, like I said, the least offending. So it's pretty good. Yeah,
I mean, at least it looks like a nice building. Unlike our next piece of concept art, Poultry Place. This new eatery in the Toy Story neighborhood will replace Don Thomas turkey legs. Look at this abomination. Look at this abomination. First off, this seems like something that would be left over from DCA 1.0 before they redid basically the whole park. I am not a fan of this. It's just tacky. That's really what it is. It's just tacky. It's lazy theming. Anyone can make oversized props and theme them to whatever they like, and it's not really you guys, oh gosh, excuse me, you guys know what I mean. I'm not a fan of this concept art, especially this one piece in general. This is an abomination. Alex, what are your thoughts on the Poultry Place in DCA?
Oh, it's absolutely terrible. It reminds me of what DCA used to look like, you know, as everyone calls it, DCA 1.0. That's what it looks like to me. And the thing is that Disney is saying that, oh, well, you know, it's oversized because you're in this neighborhood and you're technically a smaller size, but I don't care what they say. This is just lazy theming, just like you said, and it's just an easy way for them to get away with not really having to work very hard at figuring out, you know, how to create something nicer. And Stacey Gregory says that that DCA is an ugly stepsister park to Disneyland, which is true, but it doesn't have to be that way, Stacey. That's the point I've always been trying to make is that DCA it is an ugly, you know, park, and like you said, it's an ugly stepsister park, but it doesn't have to be that way. This kind of theming doesn't have to be like this. Disney could work harder at it and come up with something that's better looking, but they don't, because just like the first time around when they first built DCA, right now they're thinking, what's the cheapest thing that we can do to renovate this area? And it's the same kind of thinking that came up with DCA 1.0. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, like you guys mentioned, this is just lazy theming. Like I said, it's not even a theme. It's just a big Happy Meal box, just with different words on it. I'm not a fan of this piece of concept art. Although I do think it's really funny. That's just one thing I have to point out. I think this is hilarious that Disney thinks that it's okay to theme something like this. We mentioned a couple episodes ago of how it's really difficult. It's not difficult, it's impossible really to theme one land around Pixar, because Pixar is not really a theme. It's a movie studio that has released lots of movies. You can theme a land after something like Toy Story or Up or A Bug's Life, but you can't theme something around Pixar in general. But yeah, I do think this is hilarious. I'm going to be excited to see this in person, just to see how bad it turns out. Let's see. Our next piece of concept art, Senor Buzz Churros, also in the Toy Story neighborhood, will be a renovated churro stand themed to Buzz Lightyear. This is another really, really bad one. I just can't bring to words. I mean, the Spanish Buzz from Toy Story 3, that's not, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this. Alex, what do you think of Senor Buzz Churros?
It's offensively, disgustingly terrible. I mean, it's just like, think about this, people. This is what Disney thinks of you. They think that this is what you're worth, that all your hard-earned money that you're spending on their parks, and this is what they think that you should like. And it's just terrible. Like, I mean, who would spend, over $100 to go into a Disney park just to see this kind of cruddy looking, scenery and stuff? I mean, it's so terribly themed and so tacky and so cheap. I mean, I just can't say that enough.
Shaden says, who eats churros like that? That's a good point. We do have this little girl right next to Buzz with a churro in her mouth. Like, I guess it's kind of parodying the like Mexican dancers with the flower in their mouth doing the salsa dances. Yeah, it's just not good. I'm sorry, guys. This is not good. But that's gonna do it for Pixar Pier concept art. Thank goodness. Alex and I are not looking forward to Pixar Pier. I guess we're not really looking forward to Pixar Fest as a whole. Just because it's Pixar. I feel like I'd be okay with Pixar Fest if it didn't take over Disneyland, if it didn't replace the fireworks show, or if they didn't bring the Pixar Play Parade to Disneyland. I'd be fine with it if it was just contained into DCA. Just because I feel like DCA is already a better place for Pixar. I mean, I guess you could say that we have the one Buzz Lightyear attraction in Tomorrowland, but I mean, yeah, I just feel like Pixar, what is it even called? The Pixar whatever event is not suited well for Disneyland. But moving on to our second and final piece of Disney news. Disney announced yesterday on the 16th that there will be a new Disneyland After Dark, themed after Star Wars, May the 3rd. Quote, are you ready to experience the galaxy far, far away at a theme park that's a little bit closer to home? On the evening of May 3rd, come dressed in your Star Wars best and prepare to jump to light speed with fun activities such as exclusive after-hours access to Disneyland Park with mix-in access beginning at 6 p.m., special entertainment including character encounters and more, themed decor, and immersive Star Wars-themed photo opportunities, commemorative lanyard, event credential, and complimentary photo pass digital download, and the first opportunity to purchase limited edition May the 4th merchandise. I think it's funny how they specify immersive Star Wars themed photo opportunities, but let's see, May 4th? I guess it's sort of like a countdown for May the 4th. Let's see, March of the First Order will be happening. Captain Phasma guides a squad of First Order stormtroopers through Tomorrowland. You can meet the Resistance's newest hero at Star Wars Launch Bay, and this is really the one thing I wanted to talk about. Hyperspace Mountain will be returning. I'm not sure if it's just during this event or if it's going to be returning like for a month, or I don't even know. I don't think they specify. The Hyperspace Mountain thing was really the only thing I wanted to get into. But Alex, what are your thoughts on Disneyland After Dark Star Wars Night?
It's okay. I mean, it's a good way to hype people up for for what's coming up, such as Star Wars Land and stuff like that. I mean, that back when they had the Season of the Force, it was an answer to the fact that people wanted something that was Star Wars themed, and I think that this Disneyland After Dark thing is a good way for people to get their Star Wars kick. I'm not as big a fan of Star Wars as I used to be when I was a kid, so it's hard for me to relate to this Star Wars craze. But I think that that it's a respectable little event.
Yeah, at least it's not going to be lasting the entire summer like Pixar Fest is. Let's see, Swagford95. What are your overall thoughts on the Pixar newly released concept art for Pixar, and your thoughts on the Disneyland After Dark Star Wars event?
Well, it's just a thing that is happening. Pixar and everything. Stands look pretty cool. I mean, if I next time I get a churro, it's nothing, but
You did say in chat that you actually prefer Hyperspace Mountain. Can you give any reasoning as to why you prefer Hyperspace Mountain over the original Space Mountain? I've never ridden Hyperspace Mountain, so I'm just wondering.
Feels like it's more immersive, I guess.
Oh, okay.
When they're like, dude, we're going in, and then that's when the drop happens, and the lasers and everything are going off. It's pretty awesome. It's like awesome music going on.
Oh yeah, the music would be, I guess, one of the only things that I look forward to. I don't know. I just prefer the original Space Mountain. But thank you, Swagford, for giving us your thoughts on our two topics. Let's go ahead and move on to our main topics. Well, I mentioned we do have two, quote, main topics today. Where Alex and I are going to be talking about our favorite cue music. This is an interesting topic that I'm sort of excited to get into. My first pick would be the Pirates cue music. I've played it a couple times before my stream. I can't recall what exactly it's called. But yeah, my first pick for favorite cue music would be the Pirates of the Caribbean cue music. Right when you get on the boats, I guess is where it plays, or I guess it plays all throughout the queue as well. For me, it really sets the stage for the whole attraction. And it's also really great music to I guess do homework to, or if you have any kind of work to do. It's really great. It gets your blood pumping. No, it doesn't get your blood pumping. It's just really great music. Alex, what are your thoughts on the Pirates of the Caribbean cue music?
Oh, it's so catchy, so catchy. I mean, like, I find myself humming it sometimes, just to myself. I just hum it. It's really nice. How many times can I say that? How many different ways can I tell you that it's nice? I like it.
Oh God, I just choked on some water. We're gonna move on to the next topic, or to the next pick. Oh my gosh, that was bad. Okay, Alex,
you're drinking too much of that stuff.
Alex, why don't you give your thoughts on the Haunted Mansion cue music while I try to fix my throat.
Okay, well, as Matterhorn Matt rushes to fix his throat problem. So Haunted Mansion cue music, I really love it. It's so creepy and so like I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, it's what is it? What's that musical instrument? Anyway.
The organ? The organ? No, that might not be it.
The organ!
Oh, yeah, I got it right.
Yeah, that's what. The pipe organ. Yes, The pipe organ music. I really love it. It's so cool, so creepy. And it really sets you in the mood for being in this haunted place and stuff like that. And so I love listening to the cue music of that. That's one of my favorites.
Oh gosh. I think I'm good now. But yeah, I agree with Alex. The Haunted Mansion cue music is another one of my top picks. I would have picked this if it weren't for Pirates and for the next attraction I picked, which is the Jungle Cruise. I feel like I should have put this over Pirates, in my opinion. Jungle Cruise is my top 3, maybe top 5 favorite music from the queue. I don't know how to word that, but I'm sure you guys know what I mean. But the Jungle Cruise, it, like we said before, it really sets the stage for the attraction. I feel like it really immerses you in the world of the Jungle Cruise, because they play this old-timey music you'd hear on the radio from like the 40s or 50s, and I think cut in between they have like a guy that says like the weather, and he says something along the lines of it's like a cruise ship has gone missing, or something like that. You guys can I'm sure you guys can find all this music on YouTube. I know I play it. This is another good song. This is another good piece of music to do homework to or to study to. Yeah, like I said, it really, at least for me, it really immerses me in the whole world of the Jungle Cruise. Alex, what are your thoughts on the Jungle Cruise music?
Oh, I love it. I mean, it's so old-fashioned and stuff like that. Although I have to admit, my more favorite parts is when they give announcements on the Jungle Cruise, because it's so random. Like last time I was there, they said, "May I have your attention, please? There are no announcements at this time."
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, they do these short announcements or whatever, but it's themed to the way where it's like a radio show, and like the DJ is playing his music, and then he occasionally cuts in and just says something really funny, says really funny things. Swagford just said in chat, Jungle Cruise takes place in the 30s, so I guess it'd be music from the 30s, not the 40s or 50s, but I was close. I said 40s, only 10 years off. And our last pick for best cue music, this is Alex's pick, Splash Mountain. Alex, why don't you give us your thoughts on Splash Mountain?
It's so happy and so giddy, the music for Splash Mountain's queue. It's definitely one of those ones that I sing along to and end up humming to. It's really great. And if you know the lyrics to it, then you can kind of sing along. But a lot of people don't know the lyrics to it. But anyway, if anyone's ever waited in line at Splash Mountain, it is just such fun music to wait in line to. So that's one of my favorites, and that's why I chose it. Of course, I too think that Pirates of the Caribbean is probably my most favorite one, but of all the ones in Disneyland besides Pirates of the Caribbean, this one is definitely like top on the list.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. Like you said, I don't know the lyrics to the key music or to the music in Splash Mountain. I wish I did. I like to pretend I know and just hum along on the ride, but it is a really great piece of music. Let's see. Disney Space, hello. What is your favorite piece of cue music from the parks? Not including the ones that Alex and I mentioned already.
I'm not sure if you mentioned this one, but I really like the one for Soarin'.
Oh, I totally forgot about Soarin'. Yeah, no, Soarin' is another really great piece of music. I think they have it in the Esplanade loop that they play.
Yeah. Also, sorry to interrupt, but Star Tours.
It's okay. Oh yeah, man. I was debating on whether to put Star Tours as well. Alex, what are your thoughts on what Disney Space mentioned?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, right. I really like those too. I think those are good. The Soarin' queue music is definitely of those two my favorite. And then, but I don't recall the Star Tours music. Is it music or is it? Oh wait, no. Star Tours does have Star Wars themed music in the queue. Okay, sorry. That was just a moment of me thinking to myself.
I guess an honorary mention for me would be the Star Tunnel music from Space Mountain. I'm not sure if that's only in Disney World or if it's in both Disneyland and Disney World, but that's another good piece if you want to study or just sleep to. It's really relaxing. Like I said, you guys can find all of these on YouTube if you want to listen to them. I was gonna play them during this, but I didn't want to get copyright claimed, so you guys can thank YouTube for that. Now moving on to our main topic, underrated Disneyland attractions. I guess I'll start off. My number one underrated Disneyland attraction is Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. I can't tell you how many times my family and I have skipped over this attraction since I was born, really. Since when I first remember visiting Disneyland, I'd never gotten on this up until last year. And I was really missing out. This is a really amazing attraction that tells the story of Abraham Lincoln's life. It kind of tells like what he accomplished in his lifetime. Plus it's air conditioned and you get to sit and take a nap if you want for 20 some minutes. I'm assuming that's what most people use it for, is to just take a nap. But if you really enjoy learning about just like American history and whatnot, you're gonna love Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. The Lincoln animatronic is really amazing as well. It's not as good as the newer animatronics they've released, but it's convincing enough where if you have like a small child with you, they'll think that it's really Abraham Lincoln. But yeah, like I said, this is a really great attraction that so many people skip out on. Alex, what are your thoughts on Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln?
It's such an amazing show. I mean, even I don't really go and see it as often as I should. But I remember the last time I did see it was on Lincoln's birthday, and wow, the building was full of people. I mean, like the queue area was just filled to the brim with people, and then when we went into the theater, the whole theater was full of people, which I'd never seen in my life. And everybody applauded when the show started, and they had a huge applause when the show ended, which was really cool to watch because, like I said, I had never seen it that busy before. And it kind of makes sense because it was Lincoln's birthday. But I mean, in any case, it's definitely an attraction that is underrated in the park. People don't go and see it often enough. And even people who go and see it don't really understand what Lincoln is saying. So I've had people go like, I don't understand a word that says. But yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen this theater with more than 10 to 15 people. I've never seen this theater with more than 10 to 15 people, so I guess it's good, like I said, if you like taking naps. As long as it's not Lincoln's birthday, you won't be bothered by the people around you. But yeah, this is a really great underrated attraction that if you guys have not ever experienced it, I would definitely recommend you guys checking it out. Next is Alex's pick. Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. Alex, why don't you give your thoughts on this attraction and why you think it's underrated and what you love about the attraction?
Sure. Okay, so this attraction, it is still very popular, but it's a lot of people actually skip this attraction, so it's not as popular as it would be if people had if everyone went and saw it, for instance. It is kind of like a children's ride, but at the same time, it's still very fun because it's like being in a virtual video game. And from my understanding, it's one of the first Disney attractions to actually literally be a virtual video game. I wish it had some more things in it. Like I wish it had more special effects, some kind of stuff that makes you kind of say, wow. But otherwise, it does have kind of like a traditional Fantasyland Dark ride feel to it. But definitely it's still very entertaining. And the thing is that a lot of people are in a rush to ride Indiana Jones or Star Tours or whatever else, or Space Mountain, and so they skip over this ride. But it's definitely one of those types of rides that you should see when you visit Disneyland, and just play it, especially like if you're with your kids or your siblings. It's such a fun game to play, and such a great attraction. Like I said, I wish it had some more better special effects and was a little bit more eye-catching, but it's still a really great attraction, I think.
Yeah, I haven't been on this attraction in a very long time. I guess it's just because I'm bad at it. It's either that or the guns aren't, I guess the word would be calibrated. But yeah, I haven't been on this ride in a while. I'd like to go on it again. I'm just not really a fan of it. Like Alex said, the special effects aren't really anything special. It's a lot of black light. But I mean, overall, I'd say it's a good attraction. I mean, if you have little kids who can't go on Space Mountain or can't go on Big Thunder Mountain or any of the bigger attractions, this would be a good ride to take them on. They can have fun trying to beat your high score, or if you beat your kid's high score. I don't know. It'd be a good attraction to, I guess, sort of bond. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But Buzz Lightyear, Space Rain, Astro Blasters. I got the two confused. Buzz Lightyear, Astro Blasters. I would definitely recommend you guys go checking that out if you haven't, because it really is underrated. The line for the ride isn't really as long as a lot of the other attractions in Tomorrowland. But moving on to my number 2 pick, The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Undersea Adventure. This is one of those rides that rarely has a line over 10 minutes, and that's something you can be grateful for, because you can ride this ride, get off, get in the queue again, and be on the ride again within 2 or 3 minutes. It really is a great attraction. I feel like this is one of the ones that belongs in Disneyland. Maybe swap it with Space Ranger Spin. That would make sense, but you guys, yeah. This is a really, really great attraction. It's one of my favorites. It's one of the rides my family and I always like to go on. Sam just said it uses the Omnimover ride system. Yes, it does. So the lines for it aren't really that long. But like I said, this is one of those rides where it rarely has a line over 10 minutes, which I feel is a good thing, but a bad thing as well. I'd like to see more people get on this ride, just because The Little Mermaid is one of my favorite Disney movies, and because this is one of my favorite Disney attractions ever. I'd like to see this ride get more recognition. I guess the ride is really only busy when all the other parks are busy as well. But Alex, what are your thoughts on The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Undersea Adventure?
This is sincerely my favorite ride in DCA, hands down. It honestly is. You ask me anytime what's your favorite ride in DCA, and I will tell you it is The Little Mermaid. It is just such an amazing attraction. And to be honest, it belongs in Disneyland. That's where it belongs. It belongs in Fantasyland, along next to all the other great Fantasyland dark rides. But this attraction, like you said, is very underrated because it's not visited as much as it should be. I mean, this is such an amazing attraction with such amazing animatronics and special effects, and it's really cute, and it's just really well put together. So yeah, I agree. This is a highly underrated attraction, but once again, it belongs in Disneyland. The Disney should move it to Fantasyland.
Yeah, the version of this in the Magic Kingdom is in Fantasyland, in the new Fantasyland expansion area, which I think is kind of weird, since the one here in California is in DCA. I feel like they might be able to move it maybe where the Fantasyland Theater is. I don't know. I guess it'd be a good replacement for the Fantasyland Theater. But yeah, Alex said, I agree with Alex, this ride belongs in Disneyland just because it really has that classic dark ride feel, even though it's not really a classic dark ride. It has really sort of, not really advanced animatronics, but the animatronics are more advanced than the ones in the original Fantasyland dark rides. But like I said, this is a really great attraction if you guys haven't been on it. If you guys love the Little Mermaid movie, you guys would definitely love this ride. Now, moving on to Alex's pick for number 2, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Alex, why don't you give your thoughts on the Winnie the Pooh ride in Critter Country?
The Winnie the Pooh ride definitely needs to see more love from people. It is such an amazing little attraction. I mean, granted, there's nothing groundbreaking about it, but it is cute and it is really fun. And it's exciting just to get on the attraction and then go through this adventure being with Winnie the Pooh. I wish, though, that it had, actual animatronics like, of Winnie the Pooh, just like the one in Tokyo does. And I wish that this attraction had better special effects and just had really a reason to visit it. But other than that, it is such a fun little ride. And I think that it's worth your time, especially when the rest of the park is really busy. It's a great attraction to go on because the line isn't so long. So this is definitely one of my favorite little hidden gems in the park because a lot of people don't even know it's there. So yeah, so that's what I have to say about Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, it really is in like the very, very, very back corner of the park. Not a lot of people know where it is. I'm sure many people have passed it on the way to get on Splash Mountain, but they've never actually ridden it. But you guys know my thoughts on this ride. I'm indifferent about it. On one hand, I love Winnie the Pooh, but on the other hand, I'm not a big fan of this ride just because it looks so cheaply done. Like Alex said, it needs better animatronics that are actually good and just don't swivel their head and move their arms very slowly. But I mean, I guess I can give it that. I guess I can say that it is a good ride for small children who love Winnie the Pooh. I love this ride when I was a kid. I love Winnie the Pooh. Still to this day, he's one of my favorite Disney characters, but I'm just not a fan of this attraction, especially since it took over the Country Bear Jamboree. And like Alex said, this ride is also one of the ones that has relatively short wait times. I say relatively short because sometimes the line can get up to like 45 minutes to an hour, I believe, but it is really good. You can just, like the Little Mermaid attraction, if the lines are short enough, you can just get on, just keep getting on once you get off. I don't know if you guys would want to do that, just because I'm not a fan of this attraction, but I mean, yeah, I would say it's a decent attraction. I just feel like it belongs anywhere but Critter Country. I feel like it belong in Fantasyland at least, and maybe, like I said, if the animatronics were better. But that's my thoughts on the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and I think that's it for this topic. That's it for all the topics, actually. Holy cow, we got through those really fast. Oh my gosh, I need to take a drink of water.
Well, let's see. I wanted to say that Sam the Griff says that his vote for most underrated attraction is Tiki Room.
Oh, yes.
And I have to agree. The Tiki Room is really a special show, and I really love to see it. I actually never get tired of it. And I definitely love to see all the amazing animatronics in it. Once again, there would be no such thing as audio animatronics without the Enchanted Tiki Room. So it's really great. But I have to disagree that it's underrated, honestly. Mm-hmm. It is, every time I walk by it, the waiting area is filled with people. And people are always waiting for the next show. So I don't think that it's underrated at all. I think that it's still a very popular and very relevant attraction.
Mm-hmm. I hate to say it, I've never been on the Enchanted Tiki Room. I've never seen the show. I think I said this one other time on the previous podcast. My sister and I were gonna go on it, but we decided to go on Star Tours instead. I'm really disappointed to say that. It's one of the rides that I really want to get on, because I've never experienced it before. But it does, I'd like to go on it. I feel like I agree with Alex, that it's not really underrated. But it is one of the rides that I've really wanted to get on for a long time. And I think someone else said, does anyone else talk about the Golden Horseshoe Saloon? They have the best ice cream in the Frontier. They do have the best ice cream in the Frontier. I thought you were going to say how that was an underrated attraction. Well, I guess you could say the shows there are underrated. Not a lot of people see the shows. I love the shows at the Golden Horseshoe. One that says, what? Go on it now. I will. Next trip, I will definitely go on it. Swagford says his pick is the Frontierland Shooting Gallery or Alice in Wonderland. The Frontierland Shooting Gallery, I forgot that even existed. That's one of the ones where you have to pay actual money to work, I think. Alice in Wonderland, I don't think I count that as underrated. The lines are really long for that the past couple times I've been there. It is a great attraction. Alex, what do you think about Alice in Wonderland? I don't think that's really an underrated attraction, in my opinion.
I don't think it's underrated either, because usually the lines are so long, I can't even ride that ride. It's one of my favorite Fantasyland attractions, and I can't even go on it because the lines are so long. Shaden Kennedy says that the Submarine Voyage is pretty underrated, but I also have to disagree with that too. That's not true. Every time I pass by the Submarine Voyage, the wait is 2 hours. Mm-hmm. I can't even believe how many people are in line for that attraction. And I don't even like the Submarine Voyage. Yeah. I keep telling everyone this, but last 2 times I rode it were times of incredible smelliness in the attraction, and it has completely put me off riding that ride forever. I'm probably going to ride it again soon because I'm doing a special thing for my vlogs, but this will probably be the last time I ride it because it is just it is an incredible way to if you want something smelly to happen and you being stuck on a ride, this is the ride to get it. Mm. So but no, I don't think it's underrated because it is so darn popular.
Yeah, especially since the recent refurb they did, where they added all the new effects to it, I believe. I don't remember when they did this, but it is a really great attraction if you guys haven't been on it. Lynette says you need to see it with the wacky host Maynard. Yes, I've seen Maynard, not in person, but on YouTube videos. He seems like a cool dude. I'd wanna go on it with him. Sam says it doesn't belong in a Disney park, in my opinion. I think he's mentioning the shooting gallery. It does feel like more of a, someone said more of like a carnival. It's like a state carnival attraction is what Sam said. I agree with you. I don't think the shooting gallery really has much of a place in Frontierland, except for the fact that it's a shooting gallery and it's in Frontierland. But yeah. Disney Space says oh gosh, I still got water in my throat. Disney Space says Pinocchio is overlooked by many. That's another sort of underrated one. I wouldn't necessarily say underrated though, just because it's in that small area of with Peter Pan and Snow White and the other Fantasyland attractions, but Pinocchio is one of the rides that doesn't get really long, wait times, so I've seen, but it is a really great attraction. Pinocchio is one of my favorite Disney movies so far. Let's see, I guess we'll get the questions now. Joey asked, what are your thoughts on Toy Story Land? We're moving to questions, everybody. You guys can ask us whatever kind of questions you'd like, and we'll be sure to answer them. Joey says, "What are your thoughts on Toy Story Land?" I don't know. I think Toy Story Land, I think people are going to like it just because it's Toy Story. I feel like it has some charm since, well, I guess, I mean, I'm not really a fan of the oversized props being used as a theming, like the Bugs Land. Bugs Land is an offender of this as well. It was cute when I was younger, but now that I've gotten older, I think I just see it as really lazy theming. Like I said earlier in the episode, anybody can make oversized props and call it theming, even though it's not. I wouldn't count it as like immersive theming, because I believe they're calling Toy Story Land an immersive land, which I don't think is true. Like I said, it's not. The oversized props don't really count as being immersive, I guess. Alex, what do you think of Toy Story Land? Well, I guess I should say this. I do think it'll be better than Pixar Pier. I feel like Pixar Pier is sort of the Toy Story Land's like little brother. Toy Story Land's terrible little brother who doesn't belong in any theme park ever. But Alex, what are your thoughts on Toy Story Land in Florida?
Well, it's funny that you ask that because, for one thing, my opinion is the same as Matterhorn Matt's. I do not like the oversized props. I do not like the cheap, tacky theming with a basic like roller coaster and stuff like that. I mean, they do have a Toy Story Land in, I think, Hong Kong Disneyland, and I've looked at that too, and I don't think it's very attractive. I don't think it's really Disney quality, honestly. It feels more like Six Flags quality, and that's really saying a lot, because that's like if Six Flags really stepped up their game. But Six Flags anyway. So I don't like it. And what was really funny was because someone mentioned to me, like, because I had commented that Pixar Pier looks like it's going to be tacky and whatever, and that it's got oversized props. It's really cheap looking. And they said, well, Toy Story Land looks like that. So what are you saying? And I'm like, yeah, well, I never really said I liked Toy Story Land. It looks terrible. The one in Hong Kong looks terrible, and the one they're going to build in Florida is going to look just as terrible. I mean, it's just not good. I was going to read off another question. I got to find out where they are.
I think they're building a Toy Story Land in Shanghai as well. Just to put that out there for those of you guys that didn't know.
Yeah. Disney Space asks, what attraction do you think has gone too long without a refurbishment? That's an interesting one. Because I would have said Splash Mountain, but Splash Mountain is undergoing a refurbishment right now, so I guess that's no longer one I would say. Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters has gone on too long without a refurbishment. It looks terrible. If you've seen the seats that you sit in, the little Space Rangers, I don't forget what they're called, little spaceships, whatever. The seats that you sit in are terrible looking. The leather is all ripped up and destroyed. The paint is chipping off the ride vehicles, and the actual blasters themselves are starting to look old and get yellowish, and it's just it looks awful. And they haven't refurbished it since they opened the darn thing. So I mean, they really need to refurbish that attraction and make it pretty again, because that attraction is worth a refurbishment, I think.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up earlier when we were talking about it in the underrated attractions, but I guess I just forgot. That is one of the attractions that needs to be bumped up in quality, I believe, as well. I guess my pick would be Space Mountain. Maybe. I'm just going to go with Space Mountain. They need to refurb the queue, at least the pre-queue where it's outside, not the inside part. Well, I guess I do have a sort of a problem with the inside part too. More just the inside where the loading area where they have that big screen, and it's supposed to be like you're in a spaceship, you're looking out into space, but it's not very convincing. They use like really bad CGI. I'd like it if they refurb that and maybe added a new screen or something, or maybe even got rid of it completely. I don't know, but the pre-queue, I guess, is what it's called, before you enter the actual themed part. That is one of the parts of the ride that needs to be refurbished, just because when the line gets really long, you have to stand out in the sun on top of the theater that they have. But yeah, that is, I guess that'd be my pick for ride that needs refurbishment. Oh gosh. Lynette says Peter Pan needs a fast pass. That's an interesting thing to bring up. I feel like Peter Pan does not need... I don't know. It's interesting because when they introduced the fast pass to the Matterhorn, that increased the wait time, at least from what I've seen. This is from, I guess, like the sources I have, who go to the parks a lot. It did increase the wait time since they added the fast pass, just because more people are choosing the fast pass. I don't think Peter Pan needs a fast pass. I think it's fine the way it is, at least for now. Maybe if they found a way to make the ride more efficient, maybe if they found a way to add more queue space to the ride, but currently I don't think it needs a fast pass. Alex might have differing... Oh, okay. I guess we agree.
Oh. Well, the thing about fast pass is that it immediately makes the regular wait time for any ride that it's added to makes it long. Oh my gosh, I can't even talk. It immediately makes the standard wait time even longer for any ride that they add fast pass to. And so I don't think fast pass is the answer for Peter Pan. You know what I think the answer is that they need to completely refurb Peter Pan. And once again, Peter Pan is not the same as it was in 1955. They actually completely redid the attraction in 1983. So don't worry, it's not like they're destroying the original. But what they should do is they should make it kind of like an Omnimover system for Peter Pan. And it should be, and the actual ride vehicle should be able to hold 4 people, not 2. And so they should make it a Omnimover system that is constantly flowing through the ride. That will increase the ridership and help with the lines. And that's something I really think Disney should invest in, because that's another one of those rides that is really worth the investment.
Yeah, it is one of their most popular attractions at the park. I do agree with you, but I don't know how feasible any of that would be. They'd have to close it for months maybe to get that done, but one of the things they really need to do is to add more queue space. I guess that'd be my top priority if I were Disney. But let's see. Joey says, "Are you sad they got rid of California Screamin'?" Partially. I mean, it's still going to be basically the same attraction, just with more theming. I can never get the air quotes right. More theming. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's basically the same, just with a couple. They're not even really animatronics. They're just statues, or and projections. I think. I don't know how well any of that's gonna work, or how reliable the projections are gonna be. I mean, it's a roller coaster. Roller coasters are really hard to theme unless you theme it like they did with California Screamin', as a throwback to the old school wooden roller coasters. But I'm not sad, but then I am sad because I don't like the Incredibles theme of the attraction. I think Alex will probably agree with me on that as well.
Yes.
Okay, Alex agrees with me. Let's see. Sam the Griff. Tomorrowland 2055 will come back and it will destroy Tomorrowland. I foresee it happening. That's interesting. I'd like you to elaborate more in the chat if you would, because that sounds like an interesting topic we might want to be talking about right now. Let's see, how would it destroy Tomorrowland? That's interesting. Sam, please elaborate more down in the comment section. Let's see. Let's find some more questions for you guys. Do you think Star Tours should connect to the Star Wars films more or branch off in its own direction? I think they should get rid of Star Tours altogether once Star Wars Land opens, just because it's going to be redundant, I guess would be the word, since you already have a Star Wars Land and you have a Star Wars attraction outside of that Star Wars Land. It's not going to be very symmetrical, I think would be the word. But I would like it, if they do end up getting rid of Star Tours, I would like them to reuse the sort of simulator idea. I mean, obviously I don't think they'd scrap the whole simulator theme, not really theme, the whole simulator idea of the attraction. I'd like it to be themed to Ant-Man, maybe. I brought this up a while back. I read somewhere in the comments of one of my videos, someone said that they should bring back Adventure Through Inner Space themed to Ant-Man. I think that would be a very great way to use the Ant-Man property, and to use it well. Unlike some of the other Marvel attractions we've already had in Disneyland Park. But I do think that eventually, maybe not right away, but I do think Star Tours will close to make way for a new attraction. Alex might disagree with me on this one. Why don't you give your thoughts?
I think that Star Tours has pretty much run its course. I don't think that once they open Star Wars Land, Star Tours will not look as good in comparison, and honestly, there's no plans to move Star Tours into Star Wars Land anyway. So I think that what they should do is they should change Star Tours into a new theme. And I know that Matterhorn Matt thinks it should be Ant-Man. Personally, I think it should be like Big Hero 6 or something kind of cool. Well, I mean, not that Ant-Man's not cool, but it just I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so I think that they could reuse the simulators for a new attraction. I wanted to read off what Gary Vaughn said, which is, do you think Disney has lost originality for new rides? It's all movie themed now, Star Wars being 40 years old. Actually, no, I don't think Disney has lost originality, because if you look at some of their newest attractions overseas, like for instance, you look at Mystic Manor over in, was it Hong Kong Disneyland, I think it is. Mystic Manor is really cool, and it's not themed off of any movie or anything. It's completely made up by Disney, and they recently opened it like within the past couple years, I think. But Disney can still do originality, just not in American theme parks, because Americans are too crazy about their movie themed rides. This is something that we need to voice our opinions on more often. I mean, a lot of people think that voicing your opinion doesn't do anything, but Disney does listen. And if people were to speak out against always having a movie-themed ride, we would eventually get one that isn't movie-themed. But, yeah, what do you think, Matterhorn Matt?
I agree with you. I also think that they're doing a good... Well, I guess we won't know until the rides open, but I do think they're going to be doing a good job on the attractions that are based on movie properties, like Star Wars and Guardians of the Galaxy and Epcot, and whatever other ideas they have planned for Epcot. But I do think that those attractions will be good. And I mean, I think I heard a while back that the last original attraction, non-IP based, to open in the US was Expedition Everest. I think. don't quote me on that. I've tried many times to figure out what it is, and the last I heard was Expedition Everest, so I could be wrong, but I mean, yeah, I agree with Alex. I feel like once everybody gets sick of all these movie-themed attractions, I feel like they're going to go back to making original attractions. Like Alex said, Mystic Manor is a really good attraction. I've never been on it. I hope to go on it someday, but I don't think they've lost originality in their attractions. They've just, I guess, shifted their focus more to movie-based attractions. And like I said, the movie-based attractions that they're already making, that are already out, like Star Tours. I'm trying to think of other ones. I can't think of any right now. But a lot of the ones that they've made are decent attractions, like Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. It's not, a lot of people would say that it's not a good attraction just because of how ugly it is, because it replaced the Tower of Terror. But it is a worthy successor, in my opinion, to Tower of Terror. It makes a lot of improvements on Tower of Terror, I guess. It adds more drops. I was going to say it adds a better story, but I don't think that'd be true. I just feel like it's a decent attraction all around, and I'm excited to see where Disney goes with these new IP-based attractions. So that's my thoughts. Let's see. I was trying to find Sam. I was trying to find where, if he's followed up on his comment that he posted. I think he did. Let's see. After all of the new attraction came out and peak season is past, I think they would move to the most outdated land, which in my opinion is Tomorrowland. And I think that to change that land without breaking the bank, they will paint it or retheme the land as a whole, which happens to be exactly what Tomorrowland 2055 is going to be. And then he didn't reply after that. So anyways, I guess we can move on to another question. There was one question that I wanted to get to. Steve Alexander says, Alex, double-decker Tomorrowland. That is an idea. That would be awesome. It would add more space to have more attractions in Tomorrowland. I believe they already have a double-decker Tomorrowland in Japan, I want to say. I could be wrong. But I believe they already have some form of a double-story, I guess, two-story Tomorrowland in some capacity at a Disney park. But that would be an interesting idea, to add more capacity to the park as a whole, to add more attractions, maybe add some better restaurants to Tomorrowland, maybe use the top floor entirely for restaurants and use the bottom floor for attractions only. I feel like it'd be a neat idea. Maybe even bring back the People Mover on the second floor. I don't know. It's just my opinions, my thoughts. Alex, what do you think of a double-decker Tomorrowland?
I think it's a really cool idea, and I think that we should do it. I think that we could definitely have it somehow connect to the queue for Space Mountain, and connect the queue to maybe like a new version of the Astro Orbiter that they call the Jetpacks, which they have over at Shanghai Disneyland. Mm-hmm. I really like the idea of the Jetpacks. It's like being on a roller coaster, but it only goes in around and around, but it doesn't have a floor, so it's kind of cool. And yeah, I think a double-decker Tomorrowland, they should, as Lynette Rodriguez says, they should build up. So yeah, I like it.
Let's see. If you look at Magic Kingdom, they got a version of Tomorrowland 2055, and look how it turned out, says Swagford. That is an interesting point to bring up. They did try... I'm going to say that at least they tried to keep with the I guess the word would be continuity theming throughout the land. They did try to do that with Alien Encounter, the Timekeeper, the People Mover, Space Mountain. They did try to keep all those attractions interweaved into one sort of major story, I guess would be the words. But nowadays, I don't think guests are interested in that kind of stuff anymore. I mean, look at what they already did in Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland. They replaced a lot of the attractions with IP-based rides. very cheaply done, I guess is the word, IP-based rides like Buzz Lightyear, Stitch's Great Escape, which is the worst ride in the entire universe, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. I haven't been on that in a while, so I don't really have my thoughts on that attraction, but I don't think when Disney opens, if that's a big word, if Disney opens a new or renovates Tomorrowland and Disneyland, I don't think it's going to have the sort of interweaving storylines or plots throughout all the attractions like we saw at the at first during the first what am I trying to say, during the Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland when it first got refurbed. I feel like it's going to be IP based, so some IP. I don't know what it would be. I feel like Disney's just waiting for the right movie to come out to theme their Tomorrowland After in Disneyland, because I feel at first it was the Tomorrowland movie, and then that was a terrible movie, and then Wrinkle in Time came out. I don't know if that has anything to do with like the theme of tomorrow or anything, but I feel like Disney's just waiting for the right movie to make a lot of money, and they can base the Tomorrowland retheme after that. Let's see. Sam says, I'm already sick of the movie-themed attractions, to be honest. I'm okay with them. Like I said before, I'm okay with them if they're done well, but I mean, if you look at Pixar Pier, it's not done well at all. So I can understand why you're sick of it. I'm sick of the ones that are done very cheaply, like Pixar Pier, like I mentioned. Let's see. Tower of Terror was at least original, became IP. Tower of Terror was at least original, became IP. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Gary. I think you mean it started out as an original attraction, but then they brought in the Twilight Zone IP later on in life.
No, what he means is that the Tower of Terror was a ride before it became a movie.
Oh,
the movie Tower of Terror.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh, I forgot that they made a Tower of Terror movie. Uh-oh, I need to watch that one. Let's see. Good to see you online, Matt, again. Hello, Zoran79. Thanks for tuning in. Gary says, bring back the People Mover. Joey, pick your favorite park overseas. This is going to be tough because I've never been to any parks overseas, but I guess my favorite park overseas, man, that's hard. Like I said, I've never been to any overseas parks. I'd say it's a tie between Tokyo Disney Sea and Disneyland Paris. I guess the reason they're both themed really beautifully. It's really the only reasons I have to pick those two. Alex, what are your favorite overseas parks?
Well, once again, I've never been overseas to any of the other Disney parks, but there is one that I think I would definitely love to visit, and that is Disneyland Paris, because I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I think it looks beautiful. And I can't say the same about other Disney parks like Tokyo or Hong Kong or even Shanghai Disneyland. I don't think Shanghai Disneyland looks all that pretty, but not Tokyo, but Paris Disneyland looks really beautiful. I'd love to see that someday for myself.
Yeah, I'd like to visit. I don't know how feasible it'd be for me to visit. I've never been outside the country, which is interesting. It'll be an interesting time if I do end up going, but I'll be sure to take lots of pictures and maybe do some vlogs if that ever happens in the future. There was one question: Disney Space, next city to build a Disney park in. I'm assuming he means in the U.S. That's interesting. An interesting question. I don't think Disney's going to build another park. Well, not necessarily park. I think he means like whole, like the Disneyland Resort, Walt Disney World, like that kind of thing. I don't think Disney's gonna build another Disney, I guess resort would be the word, in the U.S. I feel like we have enough with the two on the East Coast and the West Coast. I had to figure out which coast, but I feel like we have enough.
Well,
what were you gonna say?
Well,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, okay, so branching off of Disney Space's question, this is a question for you, Matterhorn Matt. So let's just say that Disney were to build another one, and the reason why I say this is because the parks here in Anaheim and in Florida are definitely becoming overcrowded with people. So what if there was an incentive to build another resort to handle the American crowds? Since a lot of us are from all parts of the country, and we're all going to a Disney park and overcrowding it. So there might actually be a reason to build another Disney resort. So where do you think in the country they would build another Disney resort?
That's a tough one. I feel like somewhere up north, maybe, or maybe Texas. I feel like that's evenly spaced out enough between the two already existing two. But then again, I don't know. I feel like somewhere up north, maybe. I don't know. I'm not good with the states. I failed the tests that we had about naming all the states in high school, so I'm just gonna say up north somewhere. So I feel like that'd be a better place than Texas. But yeah, they might, like Alex said, just because all of the parks are being crowded with people, especially in the coming years with Star Wars Land opening, but I don't think that they're going to be building any other parks. But it is an interesting question, Disney Space, which might happen. But yeah, Sam says another park wouldn't work, not anywhere in the U.S. I don't think they're going to be building another park anywhere, at least for a couple years, just because Shanghai opened just last year, 2 years ago, last year. I think it. I had this problem last episode too. I'm just gonna say last year because the Shanghai Disneyland opened last year. Let's see. We'll do a couple more questions, guys. Swagford says they're making Jungle Cruise movie despite the fact that it's already based on a movie. Is that confirmed, the Jungle Cruise movie? Please tell me it's not confirmed. I did see rumors a while back where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would be starring in it. Man, I was thinking, I'm not really a fan of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's not a very good actor. This is totally off topic.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's not the best actor. I was looking at the trailers for the new movie he's in. I think it's called Rampage or something, with the giant white gorilla and all the huge monsters. That looks like a really awful movie. I'm not gonna see that. Same with Jumanji. I didn't see Jumanji. It just wasn't very interesting to me. But I don't think I don't know. I liked him in Moana. He was okay in Moana, but I don't think he's a very good actor. Let's see. Disney Space. You're spoiling the surprise for next week. Let's see. Tokyo Disneyland is a definitive version of Disneyland, says Swagford. Let's see. Disney Space says it's confirmed. That's interesting. I'd like to see a link to where it's confirmed, just so I can confirm it myself as well. Let's see. Yeah, that movie, Swagford says it's based on a video game. The Rampage, I think it's what it's called. The movie that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's in. It's based on a video game. I don't even know. I'm not going to see it. Gary Vaughn says climate is a key factor for Disney park locations. 365 days open has to be in the south. That's a good point. I didn't think of that. I guess up north it would be cold with a lot of snow or something. Like I said, I'm not good with the states. Filming starts this summer. Disney Space. You gotta send me a link. I need to find out this for myself. Let's see. I think that's gonna do it for this week's episode. Lori says, "Good evening, Matterhorn Matt." Good evening, Lori. Thank you for tuning into our episode. Sorry you had to come at the very tail end. but we appreciate all you guys coming out. Yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up this this episode of Matterhorn Mondays. I hope you all enjoyed, and we want to hear your thoughts on all the topics we discussed, whether it be the recent Pixar Pier announcements, the Disneyland After Dark announcements, and we want to hear your thoughts on your favorite underrated attractions and your favorite cue music. I'm gonna let Alex say a little something about his channel, since we normally don't let him do that. So Alex, why don't you go ahead and let all these amazing people know what kind of videos you make on your channel.
Sure. For those of you that don't know, I have my own channel called Alex the Historian, and basically I have a few shows of interest. So one is my most popular show, which is called Disneyland History Today, and it's a documentary series that I created about each ride of the Disneyland park, the original park, and I talk about its history from what each ride started out to all the way up until what they are today. I have a vlog series where I go into Disneyland and talk about items and places of historical interest, and then I have a Fun Fact Friday series where I talk about little known fun facts about Disneyland that, well, quite frankly, nobody else on YouTube really talks about. So anyway, that is my channel, so please check that out.
Yeah guys, Alex makes amazing videos. I've said this like 1,000 times already. Link to his channel will be in the description if you're a hardcore Disney fan looking for those little facts that guidebooks don't tell you, or other YouTube channels don't tell you. I'm sure Alex has mentioned the fact you're looking for. So be sure to check out his channel. Link will be in the description, and ways to donate to him, donate money to him, will be in the description as well. You guys can support me on Patreon if you want, and you guys can follow Alex and I on Twitter. All the links will be down in the description, and as always, have a great big beautiful tomorrow.